Honkai Star Rail's 2.7 update is here and it's a game changer, or at least it's about to be. New characters, a brand new world, and brand new combat mechanics that will change the future of how we play Star Rail. We need to talk about why all of this is so important. At the very front of version 2.7, we have Sunday and Fugue as our latest characters dropping into the game next patch, and each of them come with their own reasons why you'd want to pull them. Both of them also have reasons why you wouldn't want to pull them. Starting off with Sunday, he's our first limited imaginary harmony unit coming into the game, and this guy is cracked. Not mega broken cracked, but just normal cracked. He comes with his own ups and downs, but as of right now, it's safe to invest into Sunday if you plan on investing into the upcoming Remembrance meta. And I'm not going to call it that forever. I need you to understand that Remembrance equals summon. That's it. We got full confirmation that all units from the Remembrance path will have some form of servant summoning system built into their kit, and Sunday is basically like Bronya, but with an added bonus of giving extra damage if the character has a summon tagging along. Characters like Jingyuin, Numbi, Funyun Bunny, so on and so forth, all of them take a huge advantage of this, and just like Bronya, his ultimate gives a massive boost to whoever he targets for multiple turns. Unlike Bronya's, it only affects that one ally and not the entire team. So while this is great for hypercarry units, it's not necessarily needed. Sunday isn't doing anything insane compared to what you possibly already have in your roster. Cause like if you already have the other busted AV Harmony units and you aren't that interested in the upcoming summon meta, then your value in Sunday drastically decreases. He's nowhere near bad. As I mentioned earlier, he's cracked, but the average player just won't have enough pulls to grab everything back to back to back to back to back without some insane luck. On the contrary, we've seen what happens when the game starts to introduce a new meta. It's either a slow burn like follow-up attack was with Topaz and Ratio, or it's an immediate boom like Super Break with Firefly and HMC. It's a gamble, but it's a gamble worth taking given the track record seems to be new meta equals relevant all patch. In the case of Fugue, she'll be a new Fire Nihility unit that essentially replaces HMC on your Super Break teams, and while this may seem unnecessary to some players, it's actually a big deal for all Super Break players. She focuses on boosting break effect and increasing Super Break damage through her Cloud Flame Luster state. Her skill works similarly to the original Tingyun's, but now has the added bonus of defense reduction if the synced up partner hits the targeted enemy. On top of all that, she has a fully offensive ultimate with colorless breaking attached to continue beating down toughness meters like nobody's business. All that sounds great, right? Okay, well here's the problem. Next patch, Super Break mains are about to be in a situation where they need to decide on continuing to invest into the Super Break comp or take a dive into summons. Normally, there are ways around that through 4 stars, older units, etc. to use as a placeholder, but right now there is no placeholder for HMC. Mei is replaceable to a degree on a few different break teams, but HMC is not. With version 3.0 comes a new Remembrance path, and we just got confirmation about the MC getting an upgrade to RMC. So the inherent problem is that you can't use 2 MCs on 2 separate teams, meaning you either have to let HMC go for your free alternative to summons, or you have to invest into multiple new premium options. Almost in the immediate future, players have to decide if they are going to grab Fugue or not just to continue using the Super Break teams without HMC. Then they have to decide if they're going to shoot for Sunday too, seeing as how he's the first summon-centered support we have coming up. And while that's not the end of the world, it's definitely a big decision to make that will either set you up or set you back for the future. I'm honestly more surprised we didn't get a new 4-star announced along with one of these characters. It's kind of like they're trying to force you to pull on every banner. Speaking of banners, we can talk about the reruns too. Jingyuin and Firefly. 2 characters that are beloved amongst the community from a lore perspective, but unfortunately, only one of them is tier 0. Before you say something about how Jingyuin is shooting to the top now thanks to Sunday and he's the miracle savior of all erudition, I don't believe that's gonna happen. I mean, yeah, he is going to shoot up in usage and strength, but I don't believe Sunday alone is carrying Jingyuin to the top. Yes, he's got some great wave clearing abilities, consistent damage, and is one of the few units that love almost every single support unit in the game. His problem was never really about buffers though, and more about his kit itself. Until they change that, he's always going to suffer compared to the rest of the roster. It's not all doom and gloom for my boy, since me personally, I'm going to be reinvesting into my own Jingyuin once Sunday gets here, just because I love the character that much. But in your case, using upwards of 180 premium tickets to secure Jing Yuan, you gotta be bonkers or really love Jing Yuan to do something like that. And then I almost want to say the exact same thing about Firefly 2, but then I'd just be lying. Firefly's issue isn't even whether or not she's worth pulling on the rerun. The question is whether or not you want to invest into Super Break right before the meta shifts to something else. Being this late to pick up a Super Break archetype, Firefly at that, means you're locking in late. So I guess it works out if you skipped Rappa, Boot Hill, and whoever else, but picked up May a few months back to prepare for this specific day. And to be fair, Fugue and Firefly being ran right next to each other is an immediate setup for Super Break success because of how perfectly they work together. But that doesn't magically increase Firefly's already low damage ceiling. In my opinion, it's just too much newness coming into the next version for any player to try looking backwards right now. And at this point, it's a great segue into how 3.0 is their start to introducing a brand new game in HSR. Obviously, it won't be too new to the point you can't recognize it, but there's a number of hints telling us that a big change could be coming sooner rather than later. I've already spoken on the Remembrance Path, but just to reiterate, the live stream revealed that all characters who follow the Remembrance Path will have some form of summon influence battle systems built into their kit known as memo sprites. Basically, this is their version of calling pets Pokemon. What's critical to think about is how deep they're going to take this concept. We see a character like Aglaia has 3 angelic puppets surrounding her, and based on any other RPG with a summon based character, we've seen them have the ability to summon multiple partners, one massive partner, or even the ability to cycle between them like in any of the Final Fantasy games. Why would Star Rail limit themselves to just one summon? How would this influence the current state of the game, and what changes would need to be made in order to check the meta or keep it from being completely overtuned? You can't just introduce a new mechanic like this, essentially adding a 5th character, and not have a strong foundation to check it just in case something obscure happens. Couple that with the fact our next big story arc is themed after the Greek mythos of all the mythology to choose from, then most of the characters revealed for this story are Honkai Impact 3 XPs who have some pretty wicked kits from their respective games. And Pure Fiction is getting a revamp for better in-game. It'd be crazier for me to not assume they're planning something big. Like Greek mythology, are we sure? Like Star Rail, hello? 3 titans carved the heavens and earth. 3 wove the threads of fate. This is literally their version of Cronus and Rhea giving birth to the original 6 Olympian gods. You know how insane that is? I'm beyond excited for this story arc, and I really hope they do it well. I love that the Greek mythos is the foundation for this because there's so much from any story that they could pull from with that mythology that it's almost boundless in creativity. I'm super shocked that so many HI3 characters are making their way into Star Rail now. And Acheron gave us a hint at the worlds colliding, but now we really get to see it. This makes those of you who are already huge HI3 lore heads a step above the rest because now I gotta catch up. I love Elysia, but I never really played the game enough to justify pulling her. Now they're giving her away for free? Coincidence? I think not. There's even the other versions of Sele in there. Veliona, I believe is her name. I've spoken about this in a few videos prior, but Hoyo has been treating all of their games fairly well when it comes to each in-game mode as of late, and Star Rail is quickly helping to set the pace. Memory of Chaos was already a big thing, but now we have Pure Fiction stepping up to the plate as today's most challenging form of content. Apocalyptic Shadow is tough too, but it's becoming more justifiable for players to validate pulling limited units for specific in-game modes if they want to confidently clear everything. Then let's not forget HSR is bringing a huge relic system change to the game. Wishful Resin and variable dice. Both of these items are huge for resource recycling for new and old players. The fear of rolling a specific damage orb or body piece you need to complete your character, only to have it roll awful stats, is gone once version 3.0 gets here. And for those that may not know, Wishful Resin gives us the ability to custom select the exact substats we're looking for. And at first I thought this was going to be a super limited item like self-modeling resin, but so far they've told us of 4 different ways to obtain them, with one of them being grindable. I guess that's the trade-off to making the variable die as limited as self-modeling resin then. We're also getting a convergence change to relic remains and how much you gain from sacking one level 15 relic. Once this update drops, we'll basically have the choice between getting all of our relic experience materials back or 400 relic remains, which can be used for exchanging the new items or for random 5-star relics. They're basically making it easier to complete perfect builds codes for a reason. But you tell me your own thoughts and opinions about the upcoming changes. If you already did that, then how about you click this video here that YouTube believes you'd love to watch. I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Smell you later.